left and hugged him yesterday. He's graduated, which was the number one thing I wanted for him. He's going to go continue to get that foot right and get ready for the Senior Bowl and hopefully be a great draft pick. Micah Mazuka had to have labral surgery, torn labrum. He played through it, which I appreciate. Micah showed great toughness to do that, moving to left tackle and playing with an injured shoulder the last 4 games. But he had to have surgery after the last game, so he's rehabbing and getting better. And then Isaiah Nayor, still in the building working out, but won't play in the game. Just going to get himself ready for East-West Shrine Bowl. Had the ACL and at Texas, and we just want to try to keep him healthy and give him a good chance, and give some of our young guys a chance to show what they can do. So, obviously, last night, congratulations to the volleyball team on a great season. Anytime it comes to an end, I know it's hard, but they continue to set the bar in this athletic department of what excellence looks like. So Coach Cook and all those women are the best of the best, and we appreciate them. So with that, I'll take your questions.
What is the schedule out of New York? I mean, how do you plan to attack that this week, just on a bowl site?
Yeah, so we've probably done more work than you normally would here because so just kind of a unique schedule over Christmas and the travel in New York. So we're going to land, and we reached out to the New York Giants, and they've allowed us to use their facilities. So we're going to land and go right to practice at the Giants. We'll practice the second day at Fordham. On Wednesday, Christmas morning, we're actually going to go to Central Park and do a walkthrough in Central Park. The Yankees have helped us secure that. So I don't know if all of our guys know what Central Park is. I have to tell them it's the park from Home Alone 2, but some of our guys know it. Sierra knows it. So Sierra's texted me last night at 10 o'clock for dinner reservations, so he gets it. Thursday we'll practice at Fordham, and then Friday we'll walk through Yankee Stadium. So we're going there to win the game. We're not going there for an experience. We're going there to win the game. We'll have experiences along the way, so we'll practice. But Christmas Day is the one day will be a little different walkthrough.
What made Addison Williams the right fit at that secondary coach spot?
Had a ton. We had a ton of recommendations on him, but we interviewed him twice, and we interviewed a couple guys, and they were all really good. Interviewed really well. He's been a coordinator, been a really successful secondary coach. In a unique twist, okay? The first time we interviewed him, I'm in my office, and John Butler's interviewing him over Zoom. One of the great things that's happened over the last couple of years. And Coach, Jamar Mosey came in to talk to me about something else. And the interview's going on. I'm not actually, participating. I'm just listening. And Coach is talking to me, and he turns around and looks, and he sees Addison. He's like, you interviewing him? I said, yeah. Well, he had been with him at UCF. He's like, Coach, that is a great football coach. That is a great recruiter. And that's a guy who gets his guys to play. So, I trust. From the very first day that I met Coach Mosey, I went to recruit at his high school. There was an immediate connection, and we see things the same way. So that meant a lot to me, too. When Scott got the job at UCF, I obviously reached out to him, and when Ryan Callahan has left us and gone back to UCF to be part of that recruiting, so Scott and I were talking, and he had great things to say, about what people were saying in that department. So everyone from people that were there, people that were getting there, and then again the interview I thought was really great.
Will all the new coaches be a part? What new coaches are going to be a part of the bowl practices for you guys?
Yeah, Phil came in last week. Just to kind of consult. He's not coaching yet, He'll start after the new year. But our hope is that the D-line coach is not hired yet. Obviously they're finishing their season out. But Phil Simpson's been there with us. DeKeel's been there with us. And Addison's finishing up everything right now, so he'll be there with us.
They have a pretty good, I have a really good pass rusher. What have you guys seen on film of him and, your offensive line and where it's at right now? How do you feel about it going into that?
He's elite. He's one of the best players in the country. And it's really across the board. Their O-line and D-line is really strong. But it'll be a tremendous challenge. He's one of those players. When I turn an opponent on, the first thing I do is when I look at their defense, I look to see if there's a player or something that they do that's game plan worthy, where you have to address it, right? He's game plan worthy. You have to chip him, you have to nudge him, you have to game plan for him, slide to him, etc. So he's dominant.
How do you feel like, just broadly, your offensive line played, especially down the stretch? And then we're talking to Danny yesterday, and he was pretty candid about, well, we got to bring some more offensive linemen in to keep what happened this year going.
Well, I mean, I think anytime you lose two seniors, two super seniors, really, I mean, you're going to look to address it. Offensive line is a unique position in that. It usually the true historical thing is you bring a kid in, you redshirt him. It's the best thing for him. The next year 2, you're hoping that they're in the rotation, and year 3, if they're a really good player, they're starting, right? So it's best to probably recruit, develop, and grow your own guys at that position. We've been here for 2 years. We're going into year 3, so some of the guys we recruited the first year, we're hoping that they can help you this year. So guys like Gunnar played this year, and what probably wasn't the plan for him to play, but he played and he played well. So I think that you're going to look for offensive linemen all the time, and continue to recruit and develop your own guys. But I don't. I just want to make sure I say it. To me, it's a 3-year process at best if a guy's really a good player. I thought the offensive line really the last 4 to 5 weeks had a dramatic uptick. Played better. I thought when we part of it's just development and growth, and part of it was settling down maybe a little bit of what we were doing, kind of what Dana's talked about. Like, Dana's not changed anything; he's just shrunken down what we were doing, and I think that's helped. And I think Donnie's done a really good job of developing guys, and a lot of guys really that we have on the team, we think they're really good. They can be really good players. They just need the weight room. They need another off season.
Is this an era where you sample more younger guys in a bowl game like this than you would have in the past, or is it just about you're playing the best guys to win the game, obviously, but do you want to integrate more younger guys into the rotation than you have?
Well, I think the difference now is that people are going into the portal, so maybe don't have them, or they're opting out for the future. So that's the one difference. I will always, I have this thing I always say to myself all the time: just winning comes first. Just winning always comes first. So we'll do whatever it takes to win the game. We're never going to pacify somebody. You don't help somebody by playing them to keep them happy. But just the natural. What happened to Marshall, right? The natural move is that you have less guys, so it's an opportunity for some younger players to play. With that being said, there's some guys that we did redshirt knowing that they'd play in the postseason, so we have an opportunity to play them. So yeah, I think you'll see some other guys in there, but I also feel like the true measure of a man is to leave a place better than you found it. And so, if you were here and you built yourself here and you built this team to the point where they can get to bowl eligible and end that drought, you should probably play in the game. So if they want to play, then we're going to play them. So to me, it's the end of this year. It's the first game of next year. So it's probably a fine line there. And it's probably just, it's up to each individual. And we look at each individual maybe separately.
What can you say about just in general, how you feel your additions that you've announced have gone, your signings just through the portal, and how that process has played out for you guys so far?
Well, I think, I'm not even sure who we've announced. I'm sorry. Vince and Sean and all those guys handle all that stuff. I think what we're doing in the portal is probably twofold, right? Like, there's a couple positions or players maybe that we've said, hey, we want to go get that guy. Like true, NFL, day 1, day 2, 3 free agency, right? Like, hey, we think this guy can come in and be an immediate impact player. And then there's other players that you sit there and you say, kind of 2 weeks into free agency, hey, this guy's a really great value pick. It's a guy that we can get here and we think can develop or has had production. So I think we're being methodical. There's waves and waves and waves of this portal that are going to happen. It's going to be something. So we've earmarked some guys, earmarked some positions. I think we're making progress on those. One of the things I learned in the NFL from Marty Herney and Scott Fitter was don't rush. Don't just pick out the guys you want or the positions you want and be methodical, but also build the depth of the team as well. So,
do you have a capologist?
Well, Sean Patton manages sort of all of that, along with Jonathan Bateman from an athletic department standpoint. Haven Fields, has to sign off on everything because when it comes to revenue share next year, there is a cap. So we're in this weird space right now where people have the ability to use NIL up until July 1st. So there's a lot of teams that maybe are aggregating a lot of money and giving a lot of guys signing bonuses, and then hopefully everyone will kind of come to where we're all sort of in the same revenue share spot at some point. So Sean lives that daily. I can't do a spreadsheet, so Sean's on that. But it's a full-time job, managing the cap per se.
Does he have to tell you, here's what you have available to offer? Or like, how does that conversation?
Well, I mean, we meet daily on sort of where we're at and what we have and allocations and all of that. And, so when you have a cap, part of it is just value, right? Like, hey, we value this position more than this position. And we value, so the hard part is always letting your own players go. Like there's some players on your team that, if you're a good program and you practice the right way and people respect it, they're going to try to come get your coaches and players. So yeah, Sean's kind of managing that all the time, and I'm working with him.
Members of the 25 class here now, and I guess if so, I mean, what are the benefits of those guys being with you during this whole process?
I think it's a great, indoctrination into how we do things. They can't practice until the 21st, until school's out. So some guys are starting to get here right now. I think we'll go on the bowl trip with, I don't know what the final number is, maybe 8 or so. I think it'd be great for them just to kind of see the way we do things. Some of them will get a chance to practice. We'll get a chance to start to work with them, and when they show up in January, I think it'll be way better for them. So first time I've ever had that rule, and Susan's worked really hard on it. I think it's been really good.
How's it working offensively with Holgorsen? Is he implementing his system now, or does that start after the bowl?
I think I think Dana is not necessarily tied to a system. I mean, he's not air raid. But he's very quick to say that. Like, hey, I'm not putting in the air raid. Like, and we always want to have concepts and systems that prepare guys for the National Football League. And so, I think what he's just doing is he just continues to narrow down who we are and what we do. And so, he's running it. He's in charge of it. He's doing it, and who we are moving forward, I think will come down more to who we have and what they're good at, I think, than anything else. So, but he's taken this month. I mean, he's made some changes, but not a wholesale shift.
Is it a language? Does it switch to his languages eventually?
No, I think I asked him. I said, no, after the last game, I was like, are we going to start, using different language, your words, your system? And he was like, no, the guys know this. They know these words. They know these systems. There's some things that, like, he's changed a couple formations. Like, I've called it this. This doesn't make sense. So he's made some changes, but for the most part, he's just kind of indoctrinated himself into kind of what was there.
Hey, how do you feel about your running back room? Is the guys you have right now, is that good enough for you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I would never say the guys aren't good enough. You know what I mean? Like, I think Emmett really played well down the stretch. He really fits kind of Dana's vision of what we are. We don't want to have running backs who can only run the football and can't catch. We don't want to have running backs who can't protect. So Emmett's a guy that can run the football, catch the football, protect. I think when Dana got here, he loved Ramir. Obviously, his career's coming to an end, but he was hurt down the stretch. But I think he really found value in him. I've been on record many, many, many times talking about what I feel about Quentin Ives. I think he's really, really, really a good player, and I feel the same way about Mekhi Nelson. So, does that mean that if someone came along, we wouldn't look? I mean, this is ever changing. This is not a deal where even when you come to a agreement with a player, like they sign, like in the NFL, free agency happens, you make a deal with the agent, they sign a contract, and that's not this. This is it can change tomorrow. So we're always looking, but our running back room we can win with, and we feel very, very strongly we can win with the room.
Was the Dowdell news a surprise to you, the way that played out so suddenly this week?
Oh, there was nothing sudden about it. I mean, there's nothing sudden about any of this. I love Dante, and Dante loved it here. Let me say, Dante loved it here. Dante, Yeah, no, I have just nothing but elite things to say about Dante. This was a long, hard, arduous process for him, and in the end, he went in the portal and took an opportunity. These aren't kids going into the portal to see what's out there. These are decisions. These are offers being made before they're in the portal to go in the portal. So this isn't like I'm unhappy, I'm leaving. This is, hey, I've got this, and so, the numbers are a lot and hard decisions for kids. Once you've played for me one day, you've played for me for the rest of your life, So I love Dante.
When you first got here 2 years ago, how much more have the numbers increased for players from what you've seen in NIL? Just 2 years.
Yeah. Today's price is not yesterday's price, man. You ever read the Tennessee infractions case where Coach Pruitt had a show cause and all that? That was $5,000. $5,000. Like, we're talking about millions of dollars right now. So he couldn't coach us $5,000 in a hotel room or something like that. I mean, it's just way different numbers. Everyone was mad at me last year when I said quarterbacks cost X. I had coaches call them. Well, guess what? Those numbers are across the board now. So yeah, it's just a lot of money right now.
You think it's going to stabilize once the revenue sharing is the only thing?
I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, I have no idea. I did a presentation for the team. Like, hey, here's how the portal works. Here's how rev share works. Here's how this works. Everything I said pending, because I don't think any of us know how things will be moving forward.
And is the money is it uniform across the Big Ten? Like, does every Big Ten team get the same amount, or do you have discretion?
Do I have? I have no. I have no discretion. Those decisions are made by Troy and other people. Yeah, I think every Big Ten, no school's the same. I think that's the whole point of the settlements. Like, we can't. Everybody has to do their own thing, I think. So I think the numbers are probably in the same range, but the numbers are not the same.
Anything else, guys?
Will any of last year's seniors be able to make the bowl trip with you guys? I know that was something you had talked about. Are they going to be able to make it for this one?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them. I know. I know because it went on my credit card. I know Nuri's flying in from Germany, so thanks, Nuri. So the flights from Omaha are the same prices from Germany, though. So, but yeah, no, they're all coming. Well, not all, but a lot of I think a large group's coming, and they should. They mean a lot. I don't say they meant a lot. They mean a lot to me, and so it's the least we can do. So Julie and I, sometimes it's hard to show people how you feel about them. So this is a way we can show them how we feel about them. So excited for them to be there.
Excited to watch your alma mater tomorrow?
I'm excited for the games. Okay. I mean, I think it'll be unique. I'm just excited to see this whole thing play out. So, it's too soon after last night to be talking about those guys. But they're athletic directors. I count amongst one of my best friends. I think when you think back to my alma mater, Penn State, what happened there, what Bill O'Brien did to stabilize it with really no scholarships, what John Butler did, and then what Coach Franklin has done. I mean, just year after year after year after year. I mean, he took over a program with sanctions, and year after year after year, they continue to win. So I think Coach Franklin's done an amazing job, but I'm excited for tonight. Really, I mean, I'm really excited to watch that game tonight. I'm excited to see how this all plays out, and then see how it moves playing forward. I'm excited to see like the group of 5 teams or the non-Big Ten SEC teams, how they do. When I was at Temple, I would have stood here and fought that we should be in the college football playoff. And now I'm in the Big Ten, I'm like, those guys don't belong. Strength of schedule. So, it's nice to just have it all stop being all pundits talking and just let's play it out and see what happens. So weather and all that. So, I think it'd be really cool. Thanks, guys.